Hey guys, Will here with MediaPlace, and in this video we're going to go over batch actions. Now, batch actions allow you to complete multiple actions across many different items inside of your library at one time. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in and take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with these pictures I have here. So I have these pictures of these mountains, so I'm just going to go ahead and select them all inside of my library here. All right, and up here at the top, you can select actions. Or if you quickly want to just right click on any of these photos that you selected, you'll see you have the option to select batch actions from there as well. All right, so at the top here, we have the option to export multiple files as is. So outside of maybe you want to save them to a different folder, you can do that. You can zip them out and save them as a package that way, which is an awesome way to just kind of get your files out and use them in different ways. Presets we're going to talk about in a different tutorial, and we'll get into that when we talk about some automation stuff. But let's keep moving down the list here. So rename. So this is a really cool and powerful way to rename multiple files because, sometimes you get media that's got different names, you download from different sources, but you really need to keep them organized in a nice way, right? So what I can do is at the top, you'll see there's a $sign. It says, so if you want to keep the original name without the extension, leave your $sign there. And then if you want to add a progressive numbering system, which we're going to talk about here in a second, then we can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this $sign because I want to create a custom name for this, right? Because these are all named some random name. So we're going to call these mountain, right? And then I'm going to hit dot on the keyboard and I'm going to add the number, right? Because I want to start with a numbering system, right? So they're all going to start with mountain. And then for the number, they're going to start with 1 and they're going to be increments of 1. And how many digits do you want this to be? Do you want it to be like 01, 001? So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 digits. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply action. All right. And now you'll see that my mountain starts here. I've got mountain 001, 002, 3, 4, and 5. Right. So that's how quick and easy I can rename my files using batch actions from the top there. So let's open this back up and work through a couple more. So let's talk about tags too. So from here, I could have tags. So I could maybe, these are mountains. So I could name these mountains here, right? I could add, add another tag. We could say outdoors, right? So you have the ability to add tags at one time. Of course, we could use our auto tagging feature, which would do that really great for us too as well. So I could auto tag all those and it would then auto tag all those pictures for me, which is great too. But if I want to customly get in there and manually do them, I can go in there and add them manually too as well. All right. Ratings are the same too. So I come in for ratings and I could say, these are all 5-star mountain shots that I want to use for my portfolio, for example. So I could apply that action. And now all of these photos have a 5-star rating. All right. So that is really cool into itself. All right. So now let's kind of work our way down a little bit. Let's open up batch actions again. And we're going to talk about some of the things you can do with images, right? So there's different things. We can do things with images, video, and audio only, right? So these rename tags and ratings, these are things you can do globally across any file. But images, this is something you can specifically do for images alone. All right, so let me come over here and select a few more pictures again, and I'll just select these mountain guys again, just to kind of keep it consistent. So let's go ahead and go back to batch actions. And then we've got the images selected here. And here's where you can come in and you can set things to convert. So maybe I want to convert these JPEGs to PNGs. And then I can I can overwrite the existing. So I could overwrite that, say, yes, overwrite these, make them all PNGs, or I can save them as new. And I could, for example, drag them as PNGs into my media folder like so, right? So you can see at the top there, task in progress, and it's then converting these JPEGs into PNGs. And if I come to my media folder, here are the mountain shots that are now PNGs, right? So that's how you can quickly do some multiple file conversions that way. Again, we can come in here, we can select our guys again, and then come back up to actions. And you'll see that we can do that with resizing. You can do automatic crops as well. You can flip, rotate, make those changes happen across multiple files. And here's where it's kind of cool too, because you can make adjustments just like you can for individual photos. You can come in here and then go to the edit page and kind of tweak the colors and adjustments and contrast, things like that. On the edit page, you can do this across multiple files here. So maybe these 5 photos are really dark, right? And you're like, I just need to bump the brightness up just a smidge, right? You can do that. And then, I want to give it a little bit of a color pop and I'll give it a little bit of saturation and I need to sharpen up these images just a little bit, right? So you could do that and then process all those out and not have to go in there and manually do one by one, right? If you know that you need just some small tweaks like that, that's something you can do with adjustments as well. All right, filters, maybe you're like, you know what? I want to add these to make them all grayscale, and I want them to be, they could be JPEGs or WebP files. Quality will keep on 100%, and I want to overwrite them. So you would hit overwrite, hit yes, overwrite those, and it would save those directly on top of what you currently have, right? So it's really cool. And one of the features I do want to show you is our watermark feature. And this is cool too, because maybe you have photos, it could be video as well, of stuff you're sharing with clients, and you're not quite, they're not quite sold on what they want to use yet, and you don't really want to release all of these photos, or these are just, they're just mock-ups first, and you don't want them to get out there. You don't want the client to use them yet. You can put your watermark on there, and you can do this quickly. If I go to Manage Designs real fast, you'll see that here in the watermark section, I just got my simple name right here. But if I go to Add New, you'll see that here's where I can do a new design. And so these are just random backgrounds, just to kind of get an idea of what they look like. I get random background there. So it's pretty cool, just so you can see. But you could add text, so you could put your name. So I could put Will, for example, and then I can come in here and I could resize this, right? Make it small. I could put it at the corner. I could put it in the middle, wherever you want to put it. You can do that. You could add shapes. So you can come in here, add a shape. Maybe you want it to make it stand out of the background. You could do that. Just make it smaller, right? So there's different things you can do. You can round out. You can bring in your own logo if you want. Just to show you like how quick and easy it is to do this stuff. You save your design. You could rename it. We'll call this, Will 2, save design, and then boom, right? So I've got that watermark there, and I've got this one. All right, so I can close out of this. And so here's where I can apply, for example, let's select my photos again here. These guys, go to actions, choose watermark, and I'll say, let's turn them into WebP files, and let's overwrite. All right, and then let's say, yes, overwrite those guys. And so now you can see that those files have been converted to WebPs, and then you can see my watermark for Will in the bottom right corner. All right, so again, really cool way to process multiple files at one time, but then give them a watermark and convert them at the same time. So it's a really powerful tool, right, that batch actions can do. All right, and again, you could also remove backgrounds with AI, so multiple files that have that, and you can also upscale multiple files as well at the same time using the AI upscale tool as well. In the same process, right? So the way you save, the way you overwrite, the way you drag to a specific destination folder that you've synchronized into MediaPlace is the same way you can do all of these actions for images. All right, so now let's move on to some of our video clips. So let me just go over here and click on video here, and let's select these guys right here. All right, so I've got these byte clips, and I want to do some actions to them all at the one time using batch actions. So I'll come over here, go on down to video, and here's where I can convert these, right? So I could do the same thing the way I did with images. With video, you don't have the same options, but you have similar options, right? So I could convert these from MP4s to WebM files if I wanted to. I could also resize. So maybe I don't want it to be 1080. I could bring it down to 720. And maybe I have like 10 files. I could do that, set it and go kind of thing. You could also rotate your files. So maybe I want to make a 90-degree rotation for these clips. I could do that in a batch action kind of sequence, and as well as convert them at the same time. Maybe I wanted to rotate them, turn them into WebM files, and then have access to different types of file types. That way I could do that. The extract audio feature for batch actions is really cool for video because, say, for example, you're working on a podcast and it's a video podcast, but you have multiple files that you need to extract audio from in one swoop. This is a great way to select all of your clips. And you can maybe say, I want to extract them as WAV files for that higher quality, or I need them MP3s, and you can choose the bit rate from here, right? So depending on if you want that really high MP3 bit rate, you could do it there. If you need it to be not so great for you're worried about size for your file, you can take it down that way too. And of course, we do have the option to watermark, right? So let's go ahead and let me just choose these two clips here, and let's go back to batch actions. And for video, let's just add a watermark just to show you that we can do this. And let's go ahead and remember, like I said before, the same way that you save these out is the same way it works across for images, video, and audio as well. So whether I want to save new, I can drag this to a destination folder, like I'll drag this to my media folder here. Or for example, you can overwrite those files exactly. So if you want to just keep those files there that you've synchronized in your folder inside of MediaPlace, you could overwrite them and that'll happen there. Or you can just export them out. Maybe your client is here with an external hard drive. You could just export them to their hard drive and go from there, right? So now let's go into our media folder, and you'll see that where I drag those two clips, and here is the two video clips with the watermark there. I could double click on it, make it large, and there is my watermark there, right? So really cool. All right, so let me exit out of here. And so that is working with video clips with batch actions. All right, so now let me go to some of our audio stuff here, and we've got some audio files, and I've got this waveform here, right? Now, let's say, for example, I want to convert this wave into an MP3. So I could come into batch actions, and I could do that under audio. I could convert and then click on wave, and I could save new, or let's go ahead and overwrite it, because I'm just going to go ahead and make this a waveform, right? So let's overwrite that guy, and then bam, this file is now a wave file, right? And I could do this here. I could go the opposite way too. I could take these two MP3s, come to batch actions, and then I could reconvert them back to waves. So I could go, or back to wave here. So click on wave, and let's go ahead and let's save these as new, because I don't want to overwrite those MP3s. I want to kind of have two options that I'm going to send clients here. One, they might want a high res version, and the other, they might want the, so let's just go ahead and throw that back in here. And then there you go. It converted these two MP3s to waves. So now I have a set of waves and a set of MP3s. All right. So again, it's a really awesome feature to, if you have multiple files, maybe you've got like 50 wave files, you need to convert them down to MP3 to reduce file size. This is a really fast and powerful way to utilize batch actions. All right. So again, this is your overview of how batch actions work within MediaPlace and how you can increase your workflow and speed up your process to help your projects. So as always, stay tuned for future tutorials and keep creating.